What's up guys, Cody here, back again with another Ethereal video, this one taking a look at the Talos Spotlight video. As with my other videos, I'm going to do a quick overview of his abilities, followed by my opinion and analysis of the kit, and then I'll end with my thoughts on the rest of the Spotlight regarding teasers, Easter eggs, visuals, and whatnot. So, starting with Talos' passive, Scavenging Huntsman grants Talos bonus armor and magic resist every time he gets a kill or assist, stacking up to 10 times. His special ability, Frenzy, causes his abilities and basic attacks to deal increased damage in exchange for his abilities costing more stamina, as well as his basic attacks costing stamina while Frenzy is active. Afterwards, Talos is slowed for a short period of time. Ability 1, Huntsman's Axe, deals damage to enemies in a cone in front of Talos. Talos hits an enemy with this ability, he can reactivate it to swing again, dealing the same amount of damage. Ability 2, Mighty Kick, stuns all units in front of Talos. If Talos hits an enemy with the kick, you can reactivate the ability to perform Mighty Uppercut, dealing damage and knocking up enemies in a straight line in front of him. Ability 3, Radial Sever, is a large axe troll around Talos, dealing damage and applying a bleed effect to enemies hit. Hitting enemy myths with Radial Sever will reduce the cooldown on his basic abilities by a set amount per enemy myth hit. His ult, Fearless, is a leap into a damaging ground smash wherever he lands. Talos will restore a portion of his stamina bar per myth hit. Okay, so there was a lot of talk in there about stamina. Talos will be the only myth of the first 7 to have stamina instead of mana for his resource pool. If you ever played Energy Champions in League of Legends, this is a similar concept. Myths with stamina are going to be a lot harder to learn, as unlike mana, you cannot increase your maximum stamina or stamina regen with items. In addition to this, stamina regen is decreased while in combat, but increased while out of combat. This means you can't be wasting your abilities, and you'll have to think about when to use your abilities to get the most value out of them. And this makes Talos have a much larger skill cap than what he would have had without a stamina bar. For instance, Radial Sever reduces the cooldown of your abilities, but it doesn't matter if you don't have the stamina to cast them. Frenzy gives you increased damage, but at the cost of increased stamina usage. So using Frenzy while low on stamina is actually going to hinder you. Huntsman's Axe and Mighty Kick / Mighty Uppercut are both abilities with 2 cast, which may have a stamina cost attached to the second cast. And if the second cast doesn't have stamina cost, his max stamina will be balanced around that, and it's going to force you to land those abilities. Finally, regarding stamina, his ultimate, Fearless. It's Talos' only actual gap closer. So, you use it at the start of a fight when the enemy is all grouped up to get yourself into good positioning to deal massive damage with your AoE abilities, or you wait until partway through the fight to maximize your stamina and staying power, but at the cost of poor positioning for yourself, potentially allowing the enemies to spread out, preventing you from getting a good ult. All things that you're going to have to consider while playing Talos. Now, if you haven't caught on yet, I very much like Talos' kit. The way the abilities are laid out alongside the stamina bar have simple mechanical abilities paired with necessary decision making and focus to give you a package that heavily rewards you for good play. You hit somebody with Huntsman's Axe, hit them again. You kick somebody, now knock up everybody in the line. The more people you hit with Radial Sever, the more cooldown you get back. Insane concept for the ultimate. With just that ultimate alone, I've already touched on different ways that you can go about utilizing that in a fight. The only thing in the kit that feels a little underwhelming is his passive. Really, that's just because 10 stacks seems low without being given the actual numbers for it. But even then, the passive still fits in with this whole theme of being rewarded for good play. And honestly, if Talos had a less important dash or move speed buff in his kit, he would immediately be an S tier myth, no questions asked. As for everything else in the video, we got a look at a different part of the map, which was nice to see. We got a quick look at what the teleporters from the base to the lane are going to be like. It seems like a very smooth transition, at least in here. We got to see what may be the UI for enemy health and mana. We got to see more jungle camps, all of them being the same or similar lizard folk from what we saw last week in Malia's video. This, I think, does mean that all of the minor jungle camps will be these lizard folk creatures. Something I want to note is we haven't yet seen any jungle buff monsters yet, so I'm curious as to where those are located around the map and what they're going to look like. The final thing we got to see was the Night Minion, or what I'm assuming is the Night Minion, and I do very much like the look of it. It would make sense for this to be the Night Minion, as it has a shield like the traditional Knight does, and it's in the video with the Knight character. For those that don't know, Ethereal Minions will have classes just like myths, with each wave consisting of 1 Knight, 1 Cleric, 1 Reaper, Archmage, and 2 Marksman minions, alongside with a Berserker minion that will spawn every few waves. It's an idea that's more for style points than anything in my book, but it will make for interesting and complex wave management. As for things I didn't like in the video, Talos' basic attack animation is pretty meh. Swing doesn't look like it has much oomph to it. Mal at the end of the video was showing off Talos' skin, but the animation that they were showing didn't smoothly transition back to the idle animation, so that's just something that needs a little bit of touch up to fix. And finally, the editing in this was kind of weird at points. There were random black screens where I felt like transitions should have been, and then these black screens last a little longer than what they really should have and cut into the next scene as well. It was just odd. Can't imagine it be a mistake because several people would have had to look over this video and approve of it and whatnot, but I don't know what you'd be cutting out of the video as well and not wanting to show in such minuscule sections. So it's just odd, the best way I can put it. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the Talos Spotlight video. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Ethereal content. I should have a video out later this week discussing potential item builds for Talos and how he's going to fare in his role as a jungler slash solo laner. Also, I have a podcast in the works with a good friend of mine that hopefully I can get out either this week or next week. The podcast will mainly be focused on Ethereal's gameplay aspects. We have plans to discuss old news and more recent news, giving our opinions on different things, and discussing different concepts and ideas in MOBAs and how they relate to Ethereal and various things like that. If you want us to discuss anything in particular, let me know in the comments below. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.